Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation. Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live. I'm your host, Justin D. Morgan. And yes, I'm sorry for the 30-minute delay, but I was working on thumbnails. So if you might spot what I was doing if you look at the scheduled live streams, for example. So anyways, yes. Yeah, I was working on thumbnails because I have a scheduled video release and it needed a thumbnail because the frames that YouTube picked were awful. So I had to do a thumbnail for that. And so I went ahead and did some other thumbnail work while I was at it. I even published my streaming schedule for April while I was at it. And then had to carry down the several packages, which we'll get to here momentarily. Let's see here. I do have a new Ko-fi goal. Link is in the description. And see here who we have in the chat. I'm going to go in reverse order. Joseph Morris. Hi, Joseph. Welcome. We have CMD Big Mike. Hi, Big Mike. We have Mike's Future Retro. Hi, Mike. Mike says, okay, I did not miss Wheel of Regrets. Driving to work now. You need to start a companion segment for people to phone in their eBay regrets when you... well, I'm looking at my own regrets. I will consider that. We have Sadmac. Hi, Sadmac356. We have Gutbomb. Hi, Jason. Yes, you are here. You have not missed the wheel. We have not done the wheel yet. But why not? Let's just go ahead and get to the wheel.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Justin D. Morgan.
Hey, who comes up with these titles anyway?
All right, let's see here what we have. And these are in no particular order, and I do not know why my logic board looks damp. Because it's kind of weird. It does? Yeah, I don't know why it looks damp. It is only 58 degrees in the basement, but it's only 45 degrees humidity. I don't know. It's weird. And no, there's no water leak above me. Probably just whatever's on the board. It could be the flux residue. I haven't put it through the ultrasonic cleaner. But anyways, we will ignore that for the moment. Because I have a potential regret here from an eBay seller in Oregon State. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Oregon. There we go. Let's see here what we have in this wonderful... yes, Walmart purchased bubble envelope. Oh! And we have another bubble envelope in the bubble envelope. It does appear to be a reused bubble envelope. So let's see here. Hopefully this is not Inception. Yes, and inside the bubble envelope, you will never guess what's inside. It is one of the hottest things this side of the sun. It's a Cyrix 6X86MX processor. This one being the PR233, running at 75 megahertz times 2.5. And I will let you all do the math, and you will realize that Pentium ratings were insidious because Pentium rating did not mean clock speed. So yes, I believe that comes to about 185 megahertz. Oh, that doesn't sound right. 187 and a half megahertz, I believe. Yeah, heatsink and fan required. Don't forget the fan. Steve Jobs unapproved because it requires a fan. Anyways, pins in the auction description look like they were in good shape, and I would agree. They do look like they're in good shape. So, there's a reason I got this, and we will find that out when it is not Macintosh. So, we will move on. Yapom says, I just made a possibly regretful eBay purchase myself. A sealed box of unopened 1991 Pro Set NASCAR Winston Cup trading cards. Big Mike says, do it for Dale. Alright, well, I'm going to do this for the eBay seller in Arkansas. Okay, let's try reading that again. For the eBay seller in Pennsylvania. Hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Pennsylvania. You are nowhere close to Arkansas. I read the state backwards and added a line to the P. Yes. Capom says, there are parts of Pennsylvania that remind me of Arkansas. I don't know that this came from one of those parts. All right, let's see what we have here. We have, oh, yeah, we've got reused bubble mailings. All right. And because I know you all want to guess that this is a Trident card, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have to stop you right there because this is not a Trident card. I only buy the best Macintosh stuff, except when I don't. We have a new bus card. And not just any new bus card, we have a... Cupum says, if that's a VIC-20, we have a high-resolution video card, which I'm going to steal the RAM chips off of to put in another card. Oh, and looky here. This one actually needs recapped. Because I believe that's electrolyte leakage. Oh yeah, that card needs recapped. But I have a monochrome card for a monochrome monitor. It needs VRAM. Yeah, it's a nice card, but I actually need the VRAM for something else. But I will keep this card. It just won't get the extra VRAM. Yapom says, oh, that's a nice card, kind of. I believe it does 512 by 342 or something like that. It's one of the Mac 2 cards that could actually do the lower resolution, if I remember. Because high-resolution video display card did not mean, like, 1024 by 768. Yeah, it's a good card for an early 2. So I will hold on to it, but I saw that it had VRAM, extra VRAM, and I need to steal those for something else. Also, Apple. Because the thing is, you might not realize, because they're upstairs, not downstairs. Partly due to the weight. But I have a 2-page display, and I have a portrait display. And at least one of them, I've got, I think, the video card for both of them. And one of them doesn't have the extra VRAM on it. So I would like to put the extra VRAM on that monitor's special video card so that I get all the grayscales. I don't even know. Well, the portrait display does work. It takes like 20 minutes to warm up, but I think it did back in the day too. I suspect the 2-page display probably also works. Anyways, this last item comes to us from from an eBay seller in Oregon. Surprise, surprise. So hi again to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Oregon State. Yep, got uncomfortably close to what this is in a previous guess. Very uncomfortably close. Gupbub says, ha ha ha, please be a data set. No, it's not a data set. You weren't that on point. But you did have the correct vendor. Not that I really needed this, but I did want to keep up with the Commodore. Because the Commodore is keeping up with me. But it is a C64 keyboard, which would also work in a VIC-20, which is why Gutbomb got uncomfortably close. Gutbomb says, oh, I have a C64 on the way to me in the mail from Canada. Nice. But anyways, there we go. It is a C64 keyboard of unknown working, but it has all the keycaps. Got the cable. It has all the screws, and in fact, I don't know that the shift lock has been desoldered. I mean, it might have. Then again, it doesn't look like it's been bent more than like once, or I mean, it might have been desoldered, but anyways. Yeah, I saw this pop up in one of my saved searches, and I decided that I could probably use a spare C64 keyboard. So, there we go. So, that is Wheel of Regrets. Tune in next time when maybe I will buy one thing and get a VIC-20 instead. I don't know. Alright, so now let's get to the LC475. And I have a few things here from Amazon. I have a mini 8-pin DIN cable that has the stripped wire leads, so I won't be trying to fight the very short cable here. I've got some DB9 connectors that have screw terminals, as Sadmex says, or maybe several boxes of DVDs instead. Oh, I saw something on Facebook Marketplace and I did not bite. It came too close to, yeah. DVDs. And just in case, I have a new serial, USB to serial adapter. Because I have one here, and I don't have any reason to believe that it doesn't work, but Jack68K has tested this brand with his program. And these are the parts that Jack68K suggested. Also, Jack did send me an updated version of his program, so we will also try that. But first, let me see here. I've got the Tinker Different thread. Oh, I've got the website for reconnaissance. And all right, so orange, green. Orange is pin 3, green is... Yeah, orange is pin 3, green is pin 5, and yellow is pin 4. Ah, awesome! The color code matches on this cable, so it should be a quick assembly. And then we will get to seeing if we can figure out what this 475 is doing. I'm hoping I don't need to read any of these directions because they are all in Chinese. It is rather interesting packaging for a serial adapter, I have to admit that. I don't think I've ever bought one packaged like a... Yeah, serial debug time. I don't think I've ever bought one packaged like this. It's actually kind of tamper-proof. Alright. There we go. So, this... Oh, there we go. There's the clamp, the strain relief clamp. I think these are the pieces that the cable goes through, and you pick the strain relief. I have a feeling you pick the one the cable fits through. And there's our screw terminals. This is actually a fairly decently nice little kit. Huh. And let's see here. This should snap open. I might need a spudger to get it open. There we go. Because right there it is. We got screw terminals. Very clearly numbered. So this should make it easy to put it together. And I'm not going to permanently put this together for now because I want to make sure it works. And then if it works, then I'll permanently put it together. I'll put the strain relief on and everything. So there's our cable. So I need the... Oh, there we go. And there's the... Oh, that's going to be the shield ground. So I'll connect the shield ground too. Because there is a little ground connector on here. So that's probably where the shield ground goes. But I need the... Alright, I'm going to have to look at the web page here for a moment. So I need the screwdriver. That is probably not... So what we're going to do is I'm going to build a cable, and then I will attempt to get this Mac to cooperate, and if after a couple attempts I can't get the diagnostic program to see it, I will pull my 475 from Japan out. Will this circuit board pop out of the case? Make it easier. Oh, good. Alright, that'll make it easier to wire, because I'll be able to see the screw terminals are open or closed. I need to wire. I'll wire the shield ground there, and I think I need pins 3, 4, and 5 on the. No, it's 2, 3, and 5 on the serial connector. So there's pin 2, pin 3, and pin 5. Go ahead and put our ground in because it's on the one side. I don't think it's necessary, but I might as well since it is on the cable. All right. And then the orange wire. I need the orange, green, and yellow wires. So orange, yellow, and green wires. Actually, it would help if I got the orange, yellow, and green wires and didn't grab the red one by mistake. There we go. I have to say, this is probably not the best contrast of wire colors for if someone were colorblind. I probably have to tone out the. So pin 2 goes to orange. Probably have to tone out the wires to be honest, because there's not a great contrast in some of these wire colors. So that is my live review of this cable, but the wires are at least pre-stripped long enough to go in these terminals. So the green one goes into pin 5. I think I will credit them for using the green wire for the. Oh no, they didn't use green for ground. Never mind. I was about to give them credit for something they didn't do. So. Oh no, wait, no. The green wire did. Green wire was supposed to go in pin 3. Never mind. So. And then. All right, I take that back about how far these wires are stripped. Not quite stripped long enough. So let me see if I can't. I'm just. Yeah. There we go. All right. Now I think I can get a better. So orange is pin 2. Orange goes. Oh. I think I got tricked by the colors All right, so orange goes to pin 2. All right. All right, the green goes to pin 3. And then the yellow goes to pin 5. And then all right, there we go. Orange to pin 2, green to pin 3, and yellow to pin 5. Excellent. And then I got the shield ground. So I will plug the serial end into my USB to serial adapter, which will be off screen. I'm going to plug the DB8 into the modem port, which is this one here, closest to the SCSI port. All right, I am going to copy the latest version of this program off of my NAS. As I went ahead and downloaded it when I saw that Jack sent it to me. All right, let's see here. Go ahead and extract it. I think he added some better error handling for the 475, actually. All right, so there we go. And let's take a look at this. So screen, not screen capture, screen share. So serial port should be COM3, I believe it is. I'm going to double check that. We'll bring up the device manager. Just double check. USB serial port COM3. All right, that's got to be it. All right, the Macintosh model is a 475. All right. So 3, 2, 1. All right, so let's see here. Run diag. Oh! Data bus test failed. Look at that. So, the cable I tried to build last week is horrible. All right, I could have probably told you that. So, data bus test failed. Oh, machine unknown. Interesting. Failed for data bits D12. David Starbucks says, seems to be a trend for these 40-year-old Macs. Data bus test failed. D12. I wonder if that means... That means I got a bad RAM chip or what? All right, let me see if I can find my thermal camera. Oh, there it is. Let's see if Jesse says, "Hi, Jesse. Just one of life's many tests. Yes, we have. Well, I could have probably told you there was a failure on this Mac. All right. Interestingly enough, I don't see any of the RAM chips showing up on the thermal camera view. So that most likely means that it's well, one that's not one that's failed shorted. All right. Oh, let me take you back to table cam. Yeah, for anyone that's thinking that that's not showing a lot, no, it's not really showing a lot. But there's I think that's the video. Yeah, that's the video chip, which is actually only like 40 degrees, 30 or 38 degrees. It's not that warm. All right, so we got. Yeah. All right. We got a data bus 12 test bit D12. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I just noticed something. David Starbucks says it ain't got no gas. No, I just noticed something. According to the command here, it says ROM checksum test. Error data bus test failed. Failed for data bits D12. So yeah, all right. Hmm. That was That's interesting. So I'm running it again because I there was something on the board and I don't know what it was. And I brushed it off. It didn't look like it was shorting anything, but oh, machine may have become responsive. Go figure. All right. Well, we'll restart it. ROM checksum test. Oh, it's Archimac did not respond as expected. Huh. All right. All right. So there was like something like on the board right here, and I brushed it off. I couldn't tell what it was, but I don't think that fixed it. All right. I'm going to wait a moment and then I'll power it back up and I'll try running diagnostics again on a fresh power cycle because maybe running the test the first time crashed the bus or something. I don't know. All right. Just seem to be having trouble calculating the memory size. And up. The Mac is not responding to diagnostics. Interesting. All right. I guess what we're going to have to do. All right. All right. Let's power it off. And I got the microscope. And let's see. So I'm just going to inspect the board. Capcom says it's disappointing that with those diagnostics, Broken Mac still has to be working enough that it can do the diagnostics. Yeah, it would appear something is like just broken enough that it's not able to reliably run the diagnostics. I do not know what that. Oh, that's just a lint or something. All right. So for this first pass, I'm just looking for anything that looks bad. I don't know if there's schematics for the 475. I'm sure Gutbum will be quick to correct me if I'm wrong there. I'm just going to look around where all these capacitors were, and I'm going to see if. Actually, I should probably move the microscope. David Starbucks says, almost like the CPU and the ROMs aren't communicating. I kind of wonder if maybe, maybe the ROMs could be the problem, because here they are. I don't have a 475 with the ROM socket, so. Well, that's an interesting. Is that just a. No, I think that's just something on the pad. Either that or the serial bus is broken. Oh, wait a minute. What's that? Is that a fireball? Oh, are those solder balls, or is that just reflections? I think those are just that's just flux. Oh, Capcom just sent me the schematics on Discord, which I guess I am logged onto Discord on this computer, just in a web browser. Because the Discord app behaves badly on this computer. Like, really badly. Oh, these are recreated schematics. I guess they'll work. They're probably more readable than the Bowmark schematics would be, that's for sure. Or are these recreated? They say copyright Apple Computer. Maybe these aren't recreated. I don't know. Oh, they're leaked Apple. Okay. Stian says, how many regrets did I miss? Well, we're troubleshooting the 475. All right, so I got the schematics. I mean, recreated schematics are good. I like them, but the as long as they're actually like recreated and referencing the original board as opposed to like recreated but are actually the schematics for the recreated board, and oh yeah, we changed a few things for producibility. Well, now that doesn't look good right there. I wonder. Wonder if that could be data line 12. Oh, if I have an Apple Silicon powered Mac, you can even search these PDF schematics. Why do I need an Apple Silicon powered Mac? Doesn't Adobe like oh, because someone hasn't run OCR on these. That's why I can't search them. I do have an Apple Silicon Mac, but I am not running all the way upstairs to go get it. And I have nowhere to put it on this bench. All right, so let's see here. So I'm looking at the schematic. I'm trying to find the ROM chips. Can't search them because no one's run OCR, and I don't have a license for Acrobat on this computer, so I can't just have Acrobat OCR them for me because Adobe is stingy and they only give you 2 computer license with Creative Cloud subscription. And I would have to log out another computer to log this one in. And I would also have to install Creative Cloud and Acrobat on here. All right, so on page 5, I see the ROMs, and it looks like data line 13, because that's the one that we had a failure on. Or no, it was data 12. Never mind, it was D12. So D12 looks like it is pin 23, if I'm reading this correctly. Pin 23 of U23. And that is Is that the one we are looking at? No. That is U25. Never mind. All right. But what pin is that? That V is connected to? How many pins are these ROMs? They are 30. They're going to be 40 pins, I think. All right. 30, 31. That's going to be pin 31. So pin 31 on U25 is the ROM byte line. Okay. Oh, Gutbum says, I think the searching for text and images functionality in preview only works on Apple Silicon Macs. Yes. Stian says, Intel Mac would take 3,000 years to complete the search. Yeah, and Windows 10 would just melt. So that's the byte. Okay. I mean, that could. I mean, that there could be a problem there, but I don't think at the stage of boot that we are in that the byte line to the ROM is probably the problem. All right. So let's check pin 23. So pin 23 of this ROM chip is right there. That is data line 12. If we were thinking that maybe we have a ROM problem. So there's my spudger. All right, that is very well soldered. I mean, that does kind of look funny. Okay, that looks less funny now that I got rid of the flux. And that pin goes, of course, straight under the processor. Let me see if I can find something else on data line 12. Like pin 26 of the ROM socket. Okay. Let's see if we got a connection between that pin of the ROM and pin 26 of the ROM socket. All right, so 20 to 23. All right, that should be pin 23 right there. And pin 26 is going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20, 22, 24, 26. Oh, apparently I miscounted somehow. All right. But there is a connection. So as much as I was kind of wondering if that right there was a trace break, I don't think it is because there is a connection to the ROM socket. Now we could look at the memory. All right, let's look around the memory. because there were two electrolytic caps here. Pay no attention to the kind of ugly looking bodge. Alright, so let me see if I can figure out which RAM chip is on data line 12. Going to be U9, pin 1. Alright, U9, pin 1. Alright, U9 is that one there. And pin 1 is... Ooh. That one there. Alright, so let me see if we got continuity. No, I do not believe we have continuity. Interesting. Is there a trace break right there? That would be the weirdest place for a trace break, because it's not like that's next to a capacitor. Alright, let me see if I can, let's see if I can stab the via. Alright. Alright, well. Okay, there is a connection to that via. But the via kind of looks bad. Let's see. Let me see if I can flip the board over. So that via is going to be... Well, that is interesting. Yeah, that via does look damaged. I am with you. It does not look... I mean, it doesn't look great. Zoom it in a bit more. I mean, something looks off about it. I'm with you. I'm going to turn the board over and see if I can find the other side of the via. It's approximately... So that via is... I'm counting sim socket pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's about 10. So there's about 10 pins between that via and um the middle divider on the sim socket. There's about 10 pins. So I'm hoping that'll help me find that via on the other side of the board. All right. So let's see here. So there's about 10 pins, and then that's where the via is. So if I turn this board over. All right. So turn the board over. So there's our middle divider. And so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the via is going to be somewhere in like this area of the board. So I'm going to go back to the microscope view. And somewhere in here. I have to say, the vias on this side of the board look fine. All right, let me see if I can find the via on this side of the board. So it's like two. No, I don't think I'm counting. Actually, let's try something else. This will help me find it, I think, a little easier. All right, so let's go back to the sim socket. Let me figure out which pin on the sim socket is D12. Because then I'll be able to count the pins. And so ROM sim. Yeah, there's the DRAM sim. So D12 is pin. Oh, 57. Pin 57 on the sim socket. All right. So it'd probably be quicker to count from pin 72. So 72, 71, 70, 69, 8, 7, 6, 5. Hold on. How many? Hi, Kevin. Welcome. Hope I can get it working too. 57. Pin 57. So we are 2, 71, 70, 69, 65, 64, 63, 62, 61, 60, 59, 58, 57. All right, so there's 1057. Oh, and there's a connection there. Oh, I had the wrong pin on the sim socket. So oh, so the ROM socket is connected to the RAM's connected to SIM, but I think the break is somewhere between the SIM socket and the ROM. So it's U23, pin 23. Let me refresh. So this is going to be pin 21, 22, 23. Yeah. So pin 23 goes, the trace goes under the CPU socket. So let's get the CPU out of the socket. And I'm going to use my Intel PGA chip lifter to do it because the pin spacing is the same on the processor. So first, I'm just trying to get this under the very edge of the CPU so I can get it lifted up just enough on one side so I can get the there we go, chip lifter up, and then I'm just going to basically work it. I'm sure someone at Intel, if they saw this, would probably be like, no, I spent years trying to make a PGA chip lifter that would only work on Intel chips. No, you've undone my work that year. No, I'm kidding. The pins have the same pin spacing. Well, I doubt that was the cause, but I might as well spray and let it dry because I think I might have gotten flux or something between the CPU and the socket. There we go. That'll let that dry. All right, so the trace from that ROM goes probably to a pin on the processor socket. All right, let's see if we have continuity there. If I can find the pinout of the CPU, that should be on like page 1, I would think. I would think the CPU. Oh, page 1's. Page 2, of course. All right, page 2. D12 is it's pin A10. Oh, Apple did not mark. Okay, I got to figure out where pin A10 is because Apple did not mark a corner with A and 1. So I have to figure out which corner is the A1. I mean, I'm going to presume that this is being that this is there's the notch. I'm going to presume that is A1. Actually, I'm going to take an educated guess that this is A1, which would probably mean that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Okay, so we do have connection from the ROM to the CPU socket. And yeah, so that's A1, because I realized, wait a minute, that trace right there kind of looks like it's going under the socket. So pin A1 is there. Then pin A1 is going to be in that corner. So let's check the board from pin A10 on the processor socket, because I have a feeling. All right. So I think that's our pin A1 right there, because it's got the square pad. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so there's A10. And so it's that second trace. So now it's the middle trace. It's the second from the bottom. It's like the third one from the bottom. Yeah, it's like that one right there. I'm just looking to see if I see any signs that that trace is broken on the bottom side of the board. All right, so all right, it's the first trace that's making the S curve. So now it's like that second trace, I think. And oh, there we go. There's a via. So I think it's that one right there. I think it's that one right there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. So it's that trace right there. That via is connected to D12. And interestingly enough, I think we are going towards the PDS slot. Okay. All right. I think we're going the wrong direction to possibly find a trace break. Because we're going towards the PDS slot. So that via's, I think, coming up somewhere about here. It's probably going to go into one of the chipsets. No, I haven't checked it with the scope. There is no room on my bench for a scope. There's no way I can make the scope fit tonight. I don't know if I've got good clocks. We are doing troubleshooting a la I have a voltmeter and a microscope. I'm sure Adrian Black would probably disagree with lots of things I'm doing, but well, I mean, we do get a SAD back, so I'm going to presume we have good clocks. And I did run the diagnostic, and it told me there was a data bus error on D12. So Jesse says, I am afraid that is out of scope. So I'm thinking we had enough clocks to start to run diagnostics. I for my new workbench, I did order a track saw. I needed a track saw. I ordered one. It hasn't come in yet. Not that I necessarily have time in the next 2 or 3 weeks to build it, but I haven't forgotten about it. The lumber reminds me every time I go to work and get home from work. All right, I'm looking for U8, looking for other places the data lines connected. Well, if I can find pin 106 on the primetime chip. I think I'm going the wrong direction on the board. I really think I'm going the wrong direction on the board. All right. All right. So these are the vias that are underneath the ROM. I think this row of vias is going to be the vias for one of these. I think is going to be data line 13. And I think it's probably going to be maybe this one here, maybe? Or no, probably going to be. Where's my probe? There it is. One, two, three. I'm thinking it might. It's going to be. My guess is that's going to be. I could be wrong. One of these is going to be where data line 13 comes through on the other side of the board to go to the RAM sockets. Actually, let's try this another way. All right, let's go look at the sim socket. So I think pin 72 is going to be that far corner pin. All right, so let's see if we can count little pins. So 72, 71, 70, 69, 68, 67, 66, 65, 64, 63, 62, 61, 60, 59, 58, 57. I think 57 is going to be that one that's at like the top center. Yeah, I want to say it's going to be that one right there. Right there. Hmm. All right. Let me see if I can follow the trace because that I think is the pin. So it's like kind of like I think it's that via right there. All right. So there's the via on this side of the board. I think that's the one that's beside the RAM chip. No, I don't think it is. I don't know. Somewhere. The more I look at this board, the more I wish that I had room for my scope, but there's nowhere for me to put it. Hmm. I Alright, there's something on the, oh, there we go. I brushed it off. Alright. Alright. Now that I've looked at the board and have done practically nothing to it, but I did put some contact cleaner in the CPU socket. Okay, there's a key pin. Alright, good. Alright. I'm not gonna bother to plug video back in, but I got power. I've got, I guess, keyboard in case I need it. Alright. Alright. Data bus test failed. So we do still. Alright. So I was able to get the. Oh, wrong one. Data bus. Data bus test failed. Failed for data bits D12. And if I try to run it again, it stops responding. Alright. Alright. So we are still. Data bit 12. Capom says, I know your bench doesn't currently support having a scope up there, but it would definitely be useful here. Since the diags are running, the clocks are probably fun. I don't have a place to put my scope. I don't. I short of me like doing something that will cause me to never find a whole bunch of stuff for weeks, which I'll regret doing. Um, no, I don't have a TV tray and my scope's too heavy. I really, I don't, I have too much stuff on my bench. Part of me wants to just chuck a bunch of stuff in a box, but yeah, I have a giant scope. I am. All right. Let's try a few things here before I break down and do something I might truly regret. I don't have a handheld scope either. I spend my money on regrets, not scopes. Alright, I am going to try to make sure there's not like some crud in one of these sockets shorting pins together. Although I would sure think that if data pins were shorted together, we'd get a multiple, that it would show multiple data pins. I mean, maybe I might break down and buy one of the handheld scopes, but I just have, I don't know, problems with handheld scopes of they're like not grounded to anything. Maybe that doesn't actually cause problems. All right, I'm gonna see what it does without any no VRAM. Data bus test failed. Okay, we got the data bus test failed again. I mean, maybe if one of the handheld scope companies wanted to send me a scope, I might take them up on it. I'd rather have a benchtop scope, though. Still have a data bus, data bit 12 data bus error. Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter if I'm just trying to see a signal, but I I also do sometimes like need to see what the signal's doing, and it needs to be more than it does matter what it shows me. But I mean, the thing is, I don't have a handheld scope, and I don't really have room to put my scope back on my bench because I'd have to move a whole bunch of stuff off, and then I'd never find it for weeks, and I'd have to go find a box to put it in. Probably, I am determined to try to fix this without having to pull a scope out. There's got to be some logical step I can take because not everyone has an oscilloscope. There's got to be some way, especially because the diagnostics are telling me data bit 12. There's got to be some way to find the data bit error without an oscilloscope. Stepbum says you can blindly swap chips. That's pretty much the only other way I can think of. I'm thinking there's got to be a third alternative. Because it's not like I have a plethora of 475 boards to swap chips from. I mean, even if I had an oscilloscope, it's not like that necessarily is going to mean I have a board to swap chips from, because why are we jumping conclusions that it's RAM? I mean, yes, I probably have something I could take the RAM chips off of, but I I don't I don't Capcom says data bit errors are often bad RAM. Well, I don't know that I necessarily have something to steal the RAM off of. The thing is, it's a 1 megabit times 4 chip. Joe, oh, hi, Joe, welcome. You missed me lamenting not having a room for my oscilloscope on my bench. I am now trying to ponder if I have any parts boards with RAM chips on them of the appropriate size. Because it's probably a bad RAM chip. I would presume, but I can't guarantee. Joe says just bridge all the chips, infinite RAM. Bridge all the pins, infinite RAM. Yeah. All right. These are TMS 4. Why am I trying to read these without magnification? I have the technology. All right, 70 nanoseconds. TMS 44400. All right. Capcom says, I think 6100s have the same RAM chips. I don't know if you have a borked one of those. I mean, I do have a borked 6100 board, but I don't know that I want to steal the RAM off of it, though, because it's not borked in a way that makes it completely unusable. It's just the HDI 45 port on it's borked, but the board works. Otherwise, you just have to use an external video card. Gutbum says I might be wrong about the chip type. Yeah. All right. Let me see. All right. Gutbum says 575, 475, Quadra 610, 840 AV all use the same. I think the 6100 does too. All right. I'm going to do something wild and crazy here before we start completely potentially messing up a partly working board to make it a completely non-working board. I'm going to go grab the other 475 board that I recapped that I can't remember if it's SadMax or not. And we're going to see what it does. And then that will give that stall tactic will let me try to remember where my 6100 board is. That I don't really want to take a RAM chip off of it, but I mean, I don't know who's going to pay for a 6100 board that's got a bad onboard video port. The board probably is not worth a whole lot. So maybe I can turn it into a parts board. But I need to take the processor off this board so I can put it in the other 475 board because, well, the other 475 board is the one that, I don't know where the processor went. Maybe I finally did toss it in. No, I haven't tossed it in my bad chip bin. It's the one that the leg fell off of. David Starbucks says, "Do you know anyone who would buy a 6100 board in the first place? Present company accepted, of course." Beck says, "I didn't realize you were streaming tonight." Yeah, I wanted to try to fit in some things for Macintosh, so that's why I was streaming tonight. Okay, so this board we have a data bus error on D12. Yeah, silly YouTube notifications. You're right. All right, I'm gonna go grab my other 475 board that I can't remember if it's SadMax or No Max. And let's see what the diagnostics say on it. And then maybe I'll. Ian says it's in my 6100. Then maybe I'll remember where my 6100 is that I could maybe steal a RAM chip off of. All right. There it is. Now, somewhere I have another 475 board that I haven't had a chance to test yet, and it needs recapped. Joe says, trace D12 all around the board, find where it's segmented, run a bodge wire, or don't, and do something fun instead. Oh, Joe, I did try to find where it's broken, and I can't find where it's broken. The trace does not appear to actually be broken. Alright. Let's see what this board does. Joe says, not literal, yeah. Not every data bus error is a broken trace, but Joe knows that. Oh, he was being funny, yeah. Okay. That was Joe being funny, yep. That's me with my... You know, the basement's kind of cold tonight. I was actually almost tempted to go grab a hoodie. 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Joe says, bad RAM, bad socket, bad transceiver, blah, blah, blah. Alright. Oh. I thought this one's SADMAC. Alright, well, let's put a halt to this one's boot. Well, alright. Oh. Fun fact, it helps to plug in the keyboard. Alright, so I had to interrupt the boot process to put it into diag mode. So let's see here. This one... Okay, I thought this one was SADMACing. Maybe it does occasionally. But I think this one chimes and then nothing happens. So let's run the diag tests on it. So far, no faults. It found 4 megs on board. There's no data bus errors. Huh. This board passed all the onboard diagnostics. Upbum says, here's a wild idea, feel free to ignore. These things will run with the RAM sim if you remove all the onboard RAM. Jack's asking, what appears to be wrong with this machine? Alright, the item that appears to be wrong with this machine is that I don't think you ever get a video signal. But I guess we're going to have to see for ourselves. Alright, plugged in a cable. Oh, I am on the wrong input. Not that that's necessarily going to help, because... Oh, Jack says, none of the built-in diagnostics. Test the video on this machine, working on that. So yeah, this machine... You never get a video image. So I am going to have to say this is probably not a good parts candidate because that would be a shame to use it for parts, and we someday figure out why there's no video image on it. So yeah, so I don't want to steal parts off of this board. Yeah, I have VRAM on it. And I know these VRAM modules work. I tested them in a Quadra 700. Jack says, I think we can manually test the video RAM. Hold, please. All right. Yeah, I got VRAM. In fact, well, I hold for Jack. Oh, yeah, that's okay. I can, okay, so those I built for my Quadra 700. These, I don't know where these came from, but yeah, I am not seeing any signs that I don't even see like my multi-sync monitor seeing a sync or anything. So all right, we will hold for Jack. And maybe I will. All right. I think I'm going to put you all on hold for a moment. I'm going to see if I can find my spare 6100 board because maybe we got to steal a RAM chip from it. So let me at least put you on some hold with some cool hold music while I go find that board and also maybe see if I can't find my other 475 board. bad news is I don't know where my 6100 board is. But the good news is I found the location of the third 475 board. Hi, Francois. Welcome. It's 4:30 a.m. and Justin is streaming. Yeah, my brain somewhat thinks it's late because I'm tired, as Joe noticed. Yeah, so this is a board I think I bought back in December from Stan Shi, the seller that is very dangerous to some of us. Interestingly enough, it does have a ROM socket on it. This board is also fairly clean. It does need recap, but I mean, yeah, there's signs the capacitors are leaking, but honestly, not bad enough to stop me from doing the following. Oh, I think my 6100 board is upstairs in an eBay sell pile, and it probably would help to turn power off. Oh, Jesse says, oh, you got it from Paul. All right. Yeah, so this is the board that was in the dealer upgrade 475, which has been recapped. I had to bodge some stuff there, and I've never gotten video out. The second board that we started with was the first board I bought in an attempt to get a working board, and it SAD-max and probably has a bad RAM chip. Possibly more. Interestingly enough, it required a bodge. And then, yeah, the third board here, I think I got it back in December and promptly set it aside, and I don't remember if I tested it. But it came with VRAM. It needs recapped if it does work. But we'll go ahead and given a lack of stuff that's worked tonight, we're just going to we'll send it 3, 2, 1, go. And I heard popping noises. All right, it probably needs recap. That's probably why we have no audio. We do not have. All right, let me try to restart it here. All right, I think I should have just interrupted the boot. So let's see if the diagnostic will run on it. No, it. All right, we'll try again. Not responding. All right. Jack's still trying to figure out if we can directly test the VRAM. We may have to recap this board before I'll get anywhere with it. That is a distinct possibility. Also possible that I just need to spray some contact cleaner on the serial port. And Jack says, fun, a recap. Yeah, we may be about to find the recap kit that actually should be on my workbench because I think I found it last week. I think I had both recap kits on my bench. Alright. Alright, I saw the keyboard lights flash. I just did command reset. Does not seem to be responding. Hardware hackers wondering where the Macintosh logo is. It's on my thumbnail. Yeah, it looks like I may have to recap it so I can be able to hear the speaker. Yeah, it's not responding. Alright. And I don't know if that's because the board is that bad off. Wait a minute. Alright. Hold, please. I'm going to power it back up. And there's a method to my madness. Because when I put my hand on the board to start unplugging things, something felt like it wasn't blazing hot, but I put my hand down on something that was like warmer than I expected it to be. Okay, it was not RAM. Now I'd put the thermal camera on this. I mean, maybe I just put my hand down on the processor and didn't realize it. Because, yeah, it's an XC68LCO40, so, yeah, those kind of run warm. Okay, maybe I put my hand down on the processor and didn't realize it. Yeah, I don't feel anything that's abnormally warm. Okay. False alarm. Yeah, I think at one point I changed my, or I put Macintosh on the overlay, but this took too much room up. So yeah, I only put Macintosh on the thumbnail and in the description or title. So if you're searching for Macintosh, you'll still see my live stream, but I don't take up screen real estate with more stuff on the overlay. All right, let me see. Oh, there we go. There's the cap kit I was looking for. So let's all right, I don't have a lot of free room on my workbench. How about let's, in the interest of time, we'll start the recap, and I'm going to focus on trying to get the caps for the audio circuit. So at least we can hear the. There we go. Because I heard the speaker pop, but without the audio circuit, I don't know if it just was an audio pop because the audio circuit got power, or if it actually was trying to play a sound. Because if it was just the audio circuit getting power, then possible this board's dead. Oh, there we go. There's the 040 processor that I have that's missing a pin. I guess I need to send that to John. To which he'd probably just laugh, because who wants an LC processor? Alright, so I believe the audio caps are going to be these four. And I'm... Oh. Actually, I just realized something here. That's the one of the cereal chips. That might not actually work too well. Does anyone know if the diagnostics will work on the other port? Or do I have to use the one port? Because that looks downright. Jack says, oh no, that should come off and get cleaned. It will only work on the modem port. Alright. And you have to use the one port, and that is gross, yes. Alright, I'm going to see what it looks like if I just use some contact cleaner. Yeah, that chip needs to come off the board. Yeah, that's probably going to have to come off the board. Alright. Yeah, I'm getting various comments that looks bad. Alright. I'm going to apply some flux to the board. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some SMD rework alloy, and I'm going to use it to get, because I'm going to have to apply fresh solder to get that off, probably. So I'm just going to apply some rework alloy. Oh boy, that smells wonderful, and by wonderful I mean ugh. Um, leaky cap residue. Don't breathe that. I'll worry about the fact that I've applied a ton of rework alloy after I get this chip off. All right, chip removed. All right, now let me clean up the mess. So I got, well, the SCSI port got some SMD removal alloy on it. All right, that should be easy to clean up. I may have to reflow pins at some point to get the SCSI port to work, because I may pull the that may end up desoldering a couple pins, but fine. The needs of the mini outweighed the needs of the one or the few. As in, the needs of the entire board to work, and I think we lost a pad. Maybe I'm hoping it's just a no connect. Ugh. All right. All right. I do believe we lost the pad, or one of the pads. That's we'll cope. All right. Do I have? All right. I'm going to. So that was acetone. I just went straight for the good stuff. All right. Um. All right. I got. All right. Okay, I think I got all the SMD alloy bits off the board. All right, I'll have to. Well, the board will require closer scrutiny, but let's. Oh, hold on. All right, that was a no connect pin. Interestingly enough, I think the board's fine, but I don't know that. I have a feeling the chip is probably. Chip is probably in worse shape. All right, let's take a look at the chip. It's an AM26 LS30, which I want to say is the serial chip. All right, I think I got the rework alloy off of it. But I am kind of concerned with what the legs look like, especially the ones that were on that corner closest to that cap. All right, let's see. 26LS30 JC. Let me see if I've got an LC board that's a parts board. Let me go see if the LC has that chip on it, and if so, I'm just gonna replace the chip. we are just going to steal that chip off another board and replace it. I am going to assume. Yeah, I've never seen yellow corrosion like that before. I am going to assume that the chip is bad. All right, so this is an LC board. I think this board has a bad egret chip, but I've already stolen a number of chips off of it to try to fix other boards. And I'm not totally sure my diagnosis is a bad egret chip, but anyways, it's one that I tried to do an upgrade to that would never work on an LC. Does the LC have the memory chip we're looking for? I don't think it does. Five one four four. Oh, actually, it might be. It might actually be the correct size, but it's the wrong speed. Yeah, because that's a 514400, but it's 80 nanosecond, and I need 70 nanosecond. Okay. According to the developer note, the LC475 and Quadro 605 use standard 8530 SCC chips. Yep. Which should be that 26LS30. Yeah. So I'm going to so this is the one we pulled off that 475. I am going to give it the presumptive bad chip X, just because of how bad it looked. All right, so I'm going to take one of these off. They should be the same chip. And all right. And I think I'm going to try to hot air it off the board. I don't know that it's simply going to come off with hot air. small amount of rework alloy. There we go. Donor chip acquired. Side. So yeah, the donor LC board actually comes from the first LC that I ever featured on my channel that I bought from eBay, the place where I buy the things I later regret. And the LC was the no boot LC. Just unfortunately, despite all my efforts to try to keep that board working, I think that like the ASIC or the SCSI chip or something major on it is bad. Basically, that LC board likes to, if I remember correctly, it likes to restart if you bump the video connector. So it might be the video chip, but it will also just like randomly. I think it was also randomly crashing, which could also be the video chip. Maybe it is the video chip on the board. Like I was pretty sure it came down to probably one of the custom ASICs. So I just decided the best thing to do was to use it for parts, but probably not any of the custom ASICs. All right, so I think I got that chip cleaned up. Other than it still seems like there is just a dab of little melt solder on that side. All right. So now let's take our 475 board. And let me take another 475 board so I can see which way that chip faces. Okay, it faces. Yeah, they face the same. Both chips face the same direction. Okay. And luckily, this one's an AMD chip. And the replacement's an AMD chip, so that makes it really easy. Now, I can't guarantee this is going to fix the problem running diagnostics on the board. And it will do nothing about the fact that I can't hear the chime, but the chip that was here looked so bad. This can't can't hurt to just replace the chip. One leg tacked, and leg on the opposite side. All right. Ooh. No, I didn't. Oh, I thought I had it tacked, but apparently I did not. All right. Try that again. Let's do this, 'cause yeah, this chip swap might be the last thing we do tonight before we pick up on this tomorrow. Because I am starting to get tired. And probably not a good idea to try to do SMD soldering when you're tired. All right, the alignment on that looks. Oh, oh, no wonder that the chip looked like it was aligned good. Looking at the wrong chip. All right, I think that looks. We are swapping the super serial chip. You'll have to go rewind and see what the old one looked like. we'll just say that I think this is the proper course of action. The original one had colors underneath it that are not often seen on chips that are still good. Oh, every time I try drag soldering. Hi, Lazy Bite Boy, welcome. And no, I don't remember that episode. All right, so I think I got that side. Let's see. Oh, that side looks good. This side looks. Oh, they're rebooting the series. What is it going to be called? Malcolm Still in the Middle? There we go. I think that got that. And let's see if we can get that bridge cleared up. Malcolm in the Middle management. good one. That's a good one. David Starbucks says, I never watched Malcolm in the Middle. Alright, let's clean this flux up so I can try to see how bad of a job I did. I think that one's still bridged. Alright. Alright, so I think I still have some pads that are bridged, but let's check the rest. Alright, so I don't have to look perfect, they just need to be soldered, and I'm not. That one's not soldered. Alright, I'll have to resolder those. Those look good. Those look good. Actually, maybe those aren't bridged. Nope, those are bridged. And I don't think those two on the end are soldered. Alright. Alright, let me do this so I can actually. Alright. Oh, I cleared the one solder bridge, but now I got another one. Okay, those are soldered. Oh, that's right. That one pin. think those are soldered. I think these are soldered. All right, I think they're soldered. All right. Hey, Dave, welcome. All right. Okay. So now let me let that dry a moment while I try to remember what's in this box that I just got wet with contact cleaner. Oh yeah, cap kits and batteries. Fine. All right. All right. Let's do that. All right. So, for those of you that just joined, the one of the serial chips on this board was in Technicolor. It looked like there was corrosion underneath the chip, and there might have been. It didn't look good at all. So I took the serial chip off of another board and replaced it. Because quite honestly, I don't know that the chip was good because of some of the colors the legs were. Maybe it just needed cleaned underneath, but I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to turn my thermal camera on so I'll be able to make sure I don't have any shorts or chips heat up too fast. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's see if I can get diagnostic mode to run now. Nope. Oh, you can't see. All right. All right, we'll give it one more try. Otherwise, I guess I'm going to have to recap the audio circuit so I can hear the whatever chime it might be making, because all I hear are pops. All right, so processor is getting warm, but this board hasn't been recapped, so no, replacing the serial chip did not did not allow me to simply run diagnostics mode. So, all right. I'm starting to get tired. And I think we do need to recap this board to be able to hear the if it's making any sounds. I do have a cap kit. So I think this is where I'm going to call the stream for tonight. Jack's still trying to figure out how do we test the VRAM and video circuitry. All right. So I think this is where I'm going to stop for tonight because we're at a good breaking point. Tomorrow, I will continue on the LC475. And we'll start by recapping this board, this third board that I finally managed to find in its super secret hiding spot. Spoiler alert, it was sitting on top of a Power Mac or a Mac Pro. We'll recap it, at least recap the audio circuit, and then we will we'll yep, that's what we'll do. We'll recap it. We'll just probably go ahead and recap the board. It won't take that long to recap it. And then we will we'll try to see if we will go from there. Recapping the board will then let us hear anything if it is actually making chime noises. And or might tell us that this is the parts board. I was looking at it, realized it had a ROM socket, but I don't know that that necessarily helps us. But yeah, so tomorrow we will continue on with this board by recapping it, and we should be able to start at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Thursday will be the first April Apple stream. We are going to continue on with computer. And then I am taking a 2-week break because I've got some things I need to do in those 2 weeks. That 2-week break will kind of culminate with VCF East. And then I will be live streaming again my normal schedule that following Tuesday after VCF East. So if you'd like to make sure I can get some cool things at consignment, well, you can check out the coffee link in the description. But yeah, so I'm going to do hopefully a total of 3 streams this week, and then a 2-week break, and then I'll be back after VCF East. So anyways, that is my streaming schedule. And so don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I go live next. Hope to see you here tomorrow. Pick back up on the saga of the LC475s. And thank you to Jack for the diagnostic program. I will have to make a note on the one board. Actually, let me go ahead and do that now. Yeah, so this one board here, actually, okay, I'm not going to put it through the ultrasonic cleaner tonight, but I may clean it tomorrow, so it may be drying while I'm streaming the recap. But this is the one that had that data line 13 problem. So I may ultrasonically clean it tomorrow. I'm not going to do it tonight. Let me make myself a note. It was a D13. Or no, D12. That's right. Data line 12. And then Jack will hopefully get something working with video tests. Awesome. Jack says there are some things we can try with the D12 issue to try to isolate it. Awesome. All right, so yeah, we'll hopefully be able to maybe pick back up with that board too, but we'll try recapping this third board to see what its status might be, and because the other thing is I may very well need to borrow parts from one of these boards. Anyways, with that, I'm going to close the stream out for tonight. Hope to see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, hope to see. Yeah, and yep. All right, got my finger in the correct button. Take care and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.